We are in line to see Frank Miller and Zack Snyder. For the first time, it's going to be like a talk panel. Frank Miller just released his new book, and we're going to see what's up. We're going to check it out, take some notes, have fun, and just hear him talk. First time here. Cool. Thank you. Wow.
There's a whole balcony up there.
Yeah, it looks cool. Good. Old. That's it.
My name is Chris Simmons. I'm the International Events Programmer here with How To Academy. How To Academy is an organization dedicated to bringing leading voices in culture, business, and ideas together for live conversations that inform, challenge, and inspire. Visit howtoacademy.com and sign up for our mailing list to see and to check out more events like tonight. Be the first to know about new events, offers, all that kind of good stuff. So I encourage you all to check us out. We're thrilled tonight to welcome two giants, Frank Miller and leading our conversation tonight is Zack Snyder. I'm going to keep it short. His new book, Frank's new book, is called Push the Wall, and if you haven't picked up your copy, I encourage you all to do so, and stick around afterwards where we'll try to sign as many copies as possible. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome again Frank Miller and Zack Snyder.
Thanks for that. It is literally ridiculous, right? Okay, so you can like stop dorking out because it's easy to do. I guess the very first question, the very first thing that we should probably get out is like, why now? Why this? Why?
I know there's a reason. Actually, the best answer I have really is that my dear mentor Neil Adams. Cinema is something that has been examined and re-examined, explored and re-explored globally for generations. And there isn't as nearly, there's not a library of books about comics. And certainly not a library of books about how to make them. There's Scott McCloud's books do stand out as an example of work along these lines. Will Eisner did his own book. But generally it's not exactly a section in your Barnes and Noble. And so this is my attempt to include my observations about both the field and the craft. And it's an attempt to show where we fit in the larger culture, so that we don't think of ourselves as being movies on paper. but as our own form. Because as movies on paper, we are kind of, we're really the one of but as our own story form, we can stand pretty tall.
Where did that land? How did that land? And then how did it land specifically? Then because I know how you felt about it is one thing, but then how it came out to the audience as a story or as a piece of mythology.
Yeah. Well, I mean that was an amazing period to be making comic books. It was a collision of events, just were all coming together. One is that things were opening up creatively. There was a there were a bunch of new comics publishers out there, and among the two major publishers, DC and Marvel, there was a desire to stay in the game as these new publishers were starting to draw talent away, and the fans were getting excited by seeing things that just weren't the same. At the same time, right in Manhattan, a British firm, Forbidden Planet, opened up its first bookstore.
Yes.
And they basically, the pearly gates opened wide because all of a sudden I was able to see comics from around the world just flood in. I was sharing studio space with Walter Simonson and Howard Chaykin, and I was a young buck just finding my way, but they were a terrific influence. So I was being filled up with all of these influences. Within a week of one another, a girlfriend of mine showed me this bizarre, beaten up comic book her dad worked in oil had given her. That it looked like a phone book. The thing was so damn thick. It was manga, and it was Lone Wolf and Cub in Japanese. And I was in rapture, and it was right about then that I discovered Jean Giraud, Mobius. Well, starting with the damn yellow circle. I had more difficulty on that issue than on any other issue. Because I was told, no, you can't do that, it's a trade home. And I said, no, it's also Target. It looks really stupid. It makes the back look really kind of squirrely and little. And it's like, no, it's got to be there. Great thing about comics is, at least Dad always said, was that people weren't always watching that closely. And so I was able to have Batman get in a really bad fight and get beat up, torn up really bad. And so what does he do? He crawls back to that cave and his costume's got to shreds, so he just puts the old one on and goes back out and nobody noticed.
Awesome. Yeah, and of course there's a lot of stuff in there. I'm a surgeon,
Um, you know, this mud pit is an operating table. Yeah, stuff that like for me as I read it, you know, there wasn't. It's a mix. I guess it's the mythological like it was a real mythological coming home for me because like it was like you had taken a thing that was right in front of all of us, right? What I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Batman was right there. It wasn't like a hidden, like you didn't pull something out of the back reaches of mythology and go like, oh look at this is cool. You should all learn about it. It was literally an icon anyway.
Yeah.
And you said, you know what? There's worth in this character, right? Like there's value in this character, and I want to show you what he can be. In addition to Superman, the Superman relationship, which really obviously struck me pretty strongly, and I just think that like. The fact that the characters were not that they were on display anyway.
Yeah.
You know, that was the thing I think that really struck me. How do you what was the I guess for me I guess the question is like you have these two icons,
Yeah.
obviously, and as you said, there are particular ways that those icons needed to be treated within the confines of the structure, the storytelling structure that was comic books at the time.
Yeah.
And you were like, you know, maybe if, what, you know, and I feel like getting that through.
Yeah.
What was that experience?
Oh, it was really mixed. I mean, because
I like mythology. I like
yeah.
cool shit. I think, but I just can't. I don't know where to start. How to do it.
Oh boy.
Maybe I shouldn't.
Move back to Vermont.
Exactly.
Yes.
My parents said they would let me stay, so I may go back.
Look, the main thing is like you gotta live and breathe making stories. You gotta know it. It's what you want. It's like being a musician or something. It's not a hobby because it's way too much work. But the main thing is to figure out something that you've got bugging you that isn't the flavor of the month. That isn't what you think everybody's going to want. But something that bugs you enough so it's worth devoting months and years of your life to. And be willing then to enter into a very risky life, like both of us have. Because a creative life is not an easy ride.
Yeah, having the will to suffer, I think is the first thing. You know, like you have the will to suffer, then maybe you can now from there you can go forward.
Yeah.
But unless you have that, that's like a prerequisite. Looks like you're kind of like you're gonna beat yourself up. You don't care about food. Yeah, okay, you can go forward.
I mean, any of us you talk to, like who've done what Zack and me have done and pursued this course, could probably tell you horror stories that we've lived through, of just dark, bleak times and scary times. So it's something you've got to take on, and it's very much like deciding that you're going to be, let's see, how do I put it? It's something you have to take seriously as anyone who's on a quest would take. I mean, for instance, I had My mother was an interesting example in that she was trained as a combat nurse in World War II, and went on to be a night nurse in a hospital and the mother of 7 across years, and had a very long, fulfilling life. But she worked herself to the bone. You know, my dad was another one like that. Again, another World War II vet, but you know, Depression era kid, and he was a guy who always, because he was a Depression era, you know, Irish kid, he always wanted to run his own business. Well, he was a great craftsman, a crappy businessman, and he went bankrupt 3 times, but he led a long and fruitful life. It's a matter of realizing that life is a matter of will, not of fortune.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, you know, the characters. I mean, we have, like, look, there's Hard-Boiled, you know, Give Me Liberty and Sin City, you know, those are all, like, there's this crazy 1990s, like, I'm graduating from college, okay? I graduated from college in 1991.
You did graduate college.
I did graduate. Obviously, college is a sham.
That's not what I heard.
Obviously, college is a joke because they let me graduate. But anyway, so within the context of the world and have to get a job, it's frightening. And meanwhile, you're cranking out like a series of insane, beautifully artistic, mythologically complex, cinematically, obviously adaptable works that I did think at the time. I was like, you know what? It's going to be Marv. Marv is going to be my movie. That is the one. Dark Knight's over here. Don't be crazy, okay? You're not gonna make a Batman movie, okay? Just calm yourself, okay? Marv, maybe. I mean, he's a brute. He's cool. He's noir. He's awesome. It's possible, in theory. So that's kind of where I did hook in to this idea that there was a future where, and look, you guys, Robert, you and Robert did an amazing job. It's kind of exactly what I would have hoped for it. So I don't begrudge it. It's awesome. But I did have this moment where I was like, early days where I was like, okay, I know that would be awesome. And so here I am. And so I guess my thing is that, like, talk about like a little bit about the early 90s. Like, I guess it's like for you probably working around in the, like, from I don't know how long it takes you to write a comic book or conceive of it, but I'm sure it's like, you know, a period of time.
Yeah. So,
like, you know, from 89 to 1992, there is a just wellspring of insanity that
there was a lot of insanity. Yeah.
Really like hurt my brain, and
it was an extraordinary stretch. I mean, I've got to say that was. You know, but I've got to point out just about everything that you named is published by Dark Horse Comics. And that was my relationship with Mike Richardson and Dark Horse Comics was wonderfully fruitful in that many of the things that had always been a negotiation or a struggle simply weren't anymore. And I was an author that he wanted to publish.
You know, for me, obviously, eventually I read this book called 300 that you wrote.
You like it?
What's that?
Did you like it?
I liked it a lot. I did. I liked it a lot. I thought it was cool. It's, I tell the story quite a bit, but
Why'd you give it that happy ending?
I kind of think it does have a happy ending, but that's just, I mean,
Yeah, it does. It does.
I'm twisted in that way.
It does.
Absolutely. 300 Spartans gave their last breath to defend it, I think is what they say in the thing. I was having this meeting with this guy, Gianni Nunari, who was a producer on the movie. At that meeting, walked by, and I was like, fuck, that's Keanu Reeves. That's awesome. What am I doing here? Then Frank walks in, I'm like, fuck. So I remember telling Frank, I was like, Frank, I want to make the comic book into a movie exactly as you drew it. I don't know how else to tell you, but I'm going to do my damnedest to make this comic book exactly as it is into a movie. And he was like, what else have you done? I'm like, well, nothing. He's like, all right.
Well, no, it's going down a little further than that. Because I gotta, you're forgetting something.
Great.
Because I quizzed him.
Oh, true.
And he had done his homework. He knew everything about it inside and out.
That's true. I had tried to care. And by the way, it wasn't hard. The reality is, it was a embarrassment of riches that the fact that I had that as a potential thing, and then finally after the meeting, I talked to Gianni. Gianni was like, "Yeah." I talked to Frank. Frank said that "Hey, if you guys can figure it out, that could be cool." And we took it around all the studios, and the studios said, "Well, no, we don't think this is interesting," because at the time there was a movie called Troy. Yeah,
That's right, Troy. Yeah.
at the exact time. And I've told this story many times, but they said, well, what do you have for your thing? We have Brad Pitt for Troy. What is your thing? And I said, well, we have this awesome comic book called 300, and we're going to make it look exactly like that. Okay. I'm going to stick with the Brad Pitt. And I said, okay, whatever. And so at that time, the movie did not happen. What happened was I went and made Dawn of the Dead. Appreciate that. Came back, and this is a true story. The studio wanted me to make I Am Legend, right? So you're gonna make I Am Legend, right? Then we found out that Will Smith actually wanted Francis Lawrence to make I Am Legend. So you're not actually making I Am Legend. Sorry about that. But then Jeff Robinoff was.
I gotta say, Zach is just giving you a wonderful mini lesson how Hollywood works.
So they said, you're not making that. Jeff Robinoff was an amazing guy, felt bad. Studio head felt bad that he had said, you're making I Am Legend, now you're not making it. What do you want to do? What else would be cool? You know what else would be cool? Fucking 300. I guess don't make that ridiculous thing. And so that's kind of how 300 happened. Really, that's truly how it happened. And then the more iconic the character,
Yeah.
the more baggage they have.
Yeah,
But then the cooler they are, Batman is a good example.
yeah,
You know, when you can write a Batman character that is, you know, serious, but also self-aware, you know,
Yeah.
all the things that, like, you know, he's not too far up his own ass where he, you know, he's kind of like, oh, like I'm an old fuck, you know, like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? So I just think it's really, it's really haunted my, my way of looking at heroes, and I thank you for that, because it's made me better at that work. So yeah, so thanks for that.
well, hey man. Versions of the same kind of hero. You know, my very first read, you know, when I was putting together First Sin City was I just wrote down Conan in a trench coat. You know, I wanted it to be a barbaric force unleashed in a recognizable modern society. But it was still like Conan's a good guy, so it was, but one that just was not born at the right time.
Sure.
And
Yeah, I think you actually have a line in there where I think you talk about like if he was born, he would have been like a king or like
yeah,
a god,
yeah.
Here he's like a bum, but like there he would have been like fucking like they would have been throwing women at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Relatively cool. But yeah, that's super awesome. Oh, cool.
Because he kept that kind of rather insipid smile on his face.
Yeah.
With those bright eyes for the entire performance, and he was terrifying.
It's horrible. So cool.
And I like Carla Gugino.
Carla's the best. Oh man, Carla's the best. By the way, having worked with Carla myself,
Yeah.
you know, I just feel like she is, she's really like an incredible sort of femme fatale, you know, by the classic sense.
She's got it's beyond everything else. She has got the voice that dreams are made of.
The voice, good.
I said beyond everything else.
It is incredible. She also is, she's also very committed, like 100% in on all of it, and really gets, you know, because she's really like classical actress and like, you know, very, and it's cool that she in no way, like what I loved about her also is like comic books are as, she has no, it's literature to her as well, right? Like she's a dork's dream in that way.
Also, it's like every once in a while you learn an awful lot about what an actor is from a single short line. And you'll know exactly what I'm referring to here. She had one line in particular that to me just jumped out with like bright neon lights around her, but perfection is what she said. He eats people. With those big eyes staring. Her delivery of that was bone chilling.
Yeah, which is a hard line. You know, like it's a really difficult. The assignments. The
Part of it was that her enunciation was always perfect.
Yeah, no, she's
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, well, tell me also now. So
That it would promote discussion about what comics are and where they fit in and what stories are and how we make them. And I would hope it would promote argument. You know, like he's full of would like this to be, I hope this is not the Basically, I'm counting on this not being the only book of its kind by a long shot, because there's not much of a library about analyzing what comics are and where they fit in, and where we can take them. I'd like to see a bunch of books like this arguing with each other.
Sure. Oh, yeah, that's great. All right, so
Thank you.
obviously you guys have all. Yikes.
I have no doubt that it would be a profound help in bookkeeping.
Okay. Were you an artist first or a writer?
Oh, from the start, I was bad at both.
That's fantastic. That's the best answer. Upcoming ideas, novels, adaptations in the works. What do you got?
Yes.
Like Vanity Fair. Almost too similar. This is rude but interesting.
Okay.
Is there anything you'd want to change about your career or any of the project that you've worked on?
No. No, let me answer that at length, though. No, because those were my solutions at the time. And I find that mistakes are your best friends. They teach you the most.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand this one.
Say it anyway, Miguel.
What's that?
Say it anyway, what the
Okay, so this one says, for Mr. Snyder.
Oh. Oh, that's you.
And then it says, why? I mean, there's a lot of reasons. Okay.
Yeah, I would never put it. Oh, no, just say, mom and dad.
That's true.
Yeah.
Um, sorry, it's ridiculous.
Censor.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, of all the comic book characters that you've written, which one challenged your perspective on morality the most? And how?
Oh. Was that
Yeah, which
was
character?
that's what I was gonna ask, was that a shrink or a Buddhist monk?
No.
All the characters which are challenged by
Yeah, which one challenged your perspective on morality? Right, probably, yeah.
No, please suggest something.
No, I was gonna say, like, right, just make you think about it, probably, right? It's challenging, it feels like it's gonna be you regardless, because we were talking backstage, and I said, the thing that's cool about Frank is that, like, you take a mythological subject, whether it be Batman or Leonidas, you have this prism that is Frank Miller, and you shine the light of that mythology through this prism, and what comes out the other side is a story. And without the prism, without the glass, with its flaws or its non-flaws or whatever you want to call it, it's easy to just, without the interpretation, you don't get the, unexpected qualities of the story.
Zach, you just gave me the answer. You just gave me the answer. I would say my answer, then I'll explain how you gave it to me. My answer would be Xerxes.
Oh, cool.
because what was so challenging was to take someone who epitomizes in the Xerxes in 300 and in Xerxes' book epitomizes just about everything. I'm not talking about the real historical figure so much as the character in this book. It characterizes just about the epitome of everything I find most pernicious and horrible in human nature. But to write the character means to put myself in his head. And in order to write a character in that manner, it has to make sense to you. And so that would be, you know, as good an answer as I got to that. That is, you know, that's a journey into the dark side for me.
Cool. This one says, is it true you had Daredevil stories mapped out beyond Born Again?
Oh, yeah, I did.
I got another one here that says, when are you both going to create a live-action Dark Knight Returns movie? Well, the good news is he's already finished the comic book. That's done. The good news is the hard work is over. The heavy lifting, if you will. No. So, yeah, I think the answer is when they let us. Yeah, I think that's the answer. Let's see what else I got here. That's ridiculous. You know, that I could write on a Post-it note and put it on my desk. And then be like, when I sit down and write something, I'd be like, oh, Frank said that. Okay, I'm good now. I can go to work. Without that, I'm going to go play more Fortnite. And say, fuck it.
I ain't saying.
What?
I ain't saying.
I ain't saying. Okay, I'm writing that down. That's it.
No, that was my refusal to answer. Now, come on.
I know. That's what I. It's gonna say, Frank. The quote is, "Refusal to answer." Frank Miller, which I think is inspiring. That means I gotta come up with it.
How about this? I will not answer on the grounds that it may lead to self-incrimination.
All right, that's also good. Oh, well. You jumped the format.
Order in the court. Order in the court.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to. All right, go ahead. But this is one time. Go.
Cry havoc and let loose the dogs of war.
On the Post-it note. You.
Okay. First off,
You jumped the format.
I
Jumped the
think,
format.
I think the reason it happens is so that they can guarantee more people, more butts in the seats by making sure they got something for everybody. What my own personal preference, I like the boners.
I like the lovers.
Yeah, I gotta know this.
All right. I think, what? Was there someone else trying to break the format? Yeah, they're all fucked up. So don't forget that part. I mean, all the characters. I mean. All right, you guys, we're gonna wrap it up. I think the one thing I do want to say is that we got the Frank Miller American Genius documentary will be available to rent or buy on August 11th, pre-ordered on Apple TV, so go do that immediately. Well, on August 11th. Oh, you can pre-order it now, so do that now when you leave here. Or you can do it on your phone, probably, because you do it immediately. And also, I want to say a huge thank you, not just for this moment with Frank, but then I owe, a ton of what I've done in my career to Frank. A lot of my point of view, a lot of my views of mythology have been shaped by the work that he's done. So just huge thanks from me, sincerely to you, brother. Again, not worthy, so thank you again. And thanks, guys. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good night.
Well, that was awesome. Frank Miller, original, legit. He just signed it. I wish we had had time to talk or nerd out for a second, but no, that was cool. That was cool. Metalhead Adventures. Crank it up, baby. How we do it? Blam blam blam.